Chaos gripped the Kenyan capital of Nairobi on Tuesday when angry protesters faced off against security forces and even set parts of the nation's parliament on fire. Predictably, President William Ruto, the self-proclaimed hustler-in-chief, promised an iron-fisted response. Ruto claimed that the previously peaceful protest had been hijacked and that his government would provide a full, effective and expeditious response to Tuesday's treasonous events. Following his proclamation, the Kenyan military was scrambled to assist security forces with the unrest, which is now spreading beyond the capital. Internet services have been cut, international observers are urging calm, and there is every expectation the situation will get even more explosive before it can subside. But why is any of this happening? It is obvious that the protesters, particularly the youth, are not happy with Ruto, and his response to their agitation is unlikely to help in that regard. Ruto's government is trying to ram a deeply unpopular finance bill through the parliament. The general perception is that the nation's leadership is not willing to listen to people's concerns. But there is more to it than just fury over the actions of the nation's leadership, and in the eyes of the protesters, Ruto is not the only villain in this saga. This is evidenced by a rather telling placard that could be seen during the protests on Tuesday, which read, "Kenya is not IMF's lab rat." To explain, let us first get into the context. Kenya, Africa's 7th largest economy, is not in the best health financially. Its current debt stands at 68% of its GDP, far higher than the levels recommended by the IMF and the World Bank. With a significant portion of the GDP being set aside to service this massive debt, there is little left over for development projects aimed at elevating the socio-economic status of the people, with youth unemployment concerns and high inflation compounding the situation. When he came to power in 2022, Ruto the hustler promised to turn around the economy and take care of the poor, pointing to his own rags to riches story as proof of his credentials. The voters bought his pitch, but soon realized they did not care for his solutions, namely taxes and more taxes. This was not solely a result of his own thinking. Kenya had availed of an IMF bailout in 2021. A bailout that unsurprisingly included severe austerity measures, including spending cuts and significant tax hikes. Ruto's willingness to comply with the terms set down by the multilateral lender has received pushback from the Kenyan public in the past before, but never quite like this. And this is where we come to the unpopular finance bill that Ruto is trying to pass into law. With the aim of raising $2.7 billion in additional taxes this year, the Ruto government is going in for more tax hikes, and this time everything from bread and sugar to diapers is on the cards. For a population already reeling from retail inflation, a taxation increase on such daily commodities feels deeply personal, and the government's supposed unwillingness to take a middle ground position is only adding fuel to the fire. The fact that this decision-making appears to be influenced by a foreign entity, in this case the IMF, has made the finance bill even more unpalatable for the Kenyan people. As the placard mentioned above indicates, the protesters are unwilling to have their lives be subject to an economic experiment. This perception of betrayal and foreign interference may go some way in explaining why the protest is so volatile. Do tell us what you think about this video in the comment section, and for more news updates, subscribe to India Today.